Hello, gameplay tubers, and welcome back to what will be episode 1 of Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War, with me, BlueAnkylo. Gotta work on my intros. I'm a little bit out of practice. And, yeah. I guess I should just start from the beginning and read the entire introduction here, because I think it's kind of important. And it's hard to catch it so quick. Alright, here we go. In an age beyond living memory, because the story is really important, a devil's shade cast upon our land. And, I know the translation team worked real hard to get these things in English. Plunging it into the deepest darkness. And condemning us to grief without end. In vain we prayed to the bleak heavens. The 12 gods descended from above. To lead the charge against the great evil. Invoking holy light, the gods smote the devil. And granted us our lost hope once more. We and our world were thus reborn. And so, as time flows endlessly on, our nightmare has faded into legend. Fire Emblem. Genealogy of the Holy War. Oh yeah. Alright guys, we'll be talking more about the story as it goes along, but for now, pretty standard introduction. Things were bad, and then people prayed to the, probably dragon god, let's just say, and they gifted them with 12 legendary weapons to defeat the great evil. Pretty standard stuff, I think. I'm gonna be comparing a lot of the story bits to, because for one, again, I talked a little bit in the introduction video, but I am playing this mostly blind, although I'll be looking at some spoiler-free guides to kind of make sure I don't mess up too badly and miss anything super important. So there are some random secrets and stuff that I'll be picking up. I also mentioned in the introductory video that we're not going to be worrying about a pure Iron Man Let's Play, so although I won't be doing save scumming to get the best level ups or, get a crit when we need a crit or something like that, there might be the occasional reload now and then. The chapters in this game are very, very long, like much, much larger maps than any other Fire Emblem game. And the game has an autosave every turn if you want. So we'll be probably using that a bit because, as much as permadeath is fun and all, what you generally end up doing is if someone dies due to being dumb, you generally have to reload and try to keep going on. Now, we might accept certain deaths over time if it's okay. Not all characters are equal. So sometimes that's alright. But like my other Let's Plays of Fire Emblem, generally I try to keep everybody alive, and especially because this is my first time playing it, I'm sure to make some mistakes. This game doesn't really hold your hand for the calculations of whether or not you'll be dead if you do a certain move, so prepare for a little bit of a learning curve, hopefully not the learning cliff. The Jugdral chronology. The Kingdom of Gran is born on the Yun River's west banks. Gran's traditions into a republic. The republic territory expands. Golden Age of prosperity. Advent of the Dark God. Its vassal. Blah, blah. Holy smokes, guys. I can't read that fast. There is a purge. There is some sorrow. There is another massacre. There is a prince that was mad at other people. There was some resistance. There was some miracles. There was a holy war. And then there's a downfall. Some crusades. Some crusaders. The Grand Vale Kingdom that declared war on the Fire Nation. No, the Fire Nation declared war, right? Okay. Sorry, feel free to stop and read through all the history there. At the heart of the continent of Jugdral lies Granvale. Prepare for all the medieval fantasy names you can imagine. A kingdom founded by Saint Haim of the 12 Crusaders. So one of the 12 legendary warriors, like always. There'll be 12 kingdoms with 12 founding saints. Supporting the royal family, the heirs of Haim and six nobles' houses. Each also descended. Oh, wow, we got 6 out of 12 in one country. This is clearly the most important kingdom in the entire world. The 6 states, while still subservient to the royal family, each occupy vast swaths of Granvale's land and maintain mighty militaries of their own. So I see Ljungby, Chalfie, Edda, Belhalla, Dazzle, Frege, and Velthamor. So we got like 6 vassals in one kingdom, or 6 dukedoms kind of thing, something like that. Okay, I get it. Easy enough. Owing to King Asmer's advanced age, the governance of Granvale falls to his son, the highly respected Prince Kurth. Kurth has 2 trusted advisors. Advisors are never good. Lord Byron, okay, he looks kind of decent. He'll probably die. And Lord Ring, oh, he's useless. Don't trust him. Granvale's Chancellor, oh, totally bad guy. Lord Raptor of Frege. Yeah, okay, I don't trust this guy. Chancellor's terrible title in any fantasy story. Has long objected to the threat of his influence posed by Kurth. He doesn't even like the current advisor. See? And has allied himself with the avaricious Lord Langbolt of House Dolzel, more bad guys, you can tell by the eyebrows, to form a faction opposed to Kurth's rule over Granvale. So they want to break up the kingdom, or just take over. They're the bad guys, certainly. The young Duke of House Velthamor, Lord Arvis, leads the Royal Guard. He's probably not that nice. He's got red eyes, can't trust him. Leads the Royal Guard in the King's care, and so has little time for the circus of politics. Yeah, we'll see about that. Only Father Claude of House Edda could foresee the oncoming storm, as well as anyone who knew about the evil chancellors that were plotting to take over the kingdom. Into the midst of this tense situation comes dire news from Jugdrol's east. Right, I believe at the very end of the timeline on the previous screen, Granvale's like at war to whatever nation is east of us. Which is this guy. Right there. Darna, a town in the Yid Desert with deep ties to Granvale, is now besieged by savage warriors from Isaac. Alright, so we're fighting the barbarians of Isaac. Let's just call them. So Germany has invaded Denmark, I guess. Reports of a brutal massacre abound. Are we actually Germany? I don't know. It looks like Central European power. The news, I guess it's pre-Germany. It'd be like we're Bohemia or something. The news is met by the people of Granvale with furious cries for retribution. And before long, the kingdom declares war on Isaac. There you go. Prince Kurth leads Granvale's charge on his father's behalf, commanding the military might of the kingdom's 6 houses. At Kurth's side, as always, is none other than Lord Byron, a highly decorated hero of peerless valor in his own right. Granvale has poured its entire military might into the Isaac campaign, so whoever's to the west is going to invade us. That's what happens in Crusader Kings, right? And precious few soldiers remain behind. Exactly, we're doomed. With its neighbors, Augustria, yeah, they're going to invade. We can see this coming. This is France, I guess. And Spain. Verd, Spain. To the south, bound in alliance. Oh, we're in alliance, yeah. It even has Genoa. It's actually, like, Italy, but whatever, it's fine. None dare to dream they could ever be threatened. So you got a triple power. We got, like, an axis of evil of a triple alliance, and we're beating up on the Northerners. Alright, I get you. It is not long at all, however, before the people's confidence is shattered. Yeah, well. As if from nowhere. Prediction correct. A vast horde from Verdane, led by Prince Gandalf. He does not look very majestic with his beard. He doesn't even have a beard. Wrong name. Crosses the Granvale border and lays siege to Ljungby Castle. So the Verdanites, the Verdanians, the Verdanese, I like that. They've invaded. In Lord Ring's absence, his daughter, Lady Aideen, is Ljungby's only guardian. They left one girl to guard a castle. Cool. Lord Byron has entrusted the defense of Granvale in his absence to his son, Sigurd, who's totally the hero of the story. who remains at Chalfie Castle with a mere handful of soldiers. A friend of Aideen since childhood, Sigurd is horrified to hear of the Ljungby siege, and even with so few soldiers, is determined to protect Aideen and his fatherland from the savage Verdunite. Alright, I tried. Hordes. The year is 757 Grand Calendar, and thus the threshold of fate is cast open. Nobody could have known the Fire Nation would attack. But this simple disturbance was but the first of countless calamities. As soon as one neighbor invades, all your neighbors are going to invade. It's time for a dogpile on Grand Vale. You got too much aggressive expansion. Uh-oh, axe guys. You know it's a Fire Emblem when the first map has a bunch of axe guys. That's a lot of axe guys. Even some bow guys, but mostly axe guys. That's a lot of axe guys. See, swords are the main weapon of this game. Alright, milady! The castle is completely surrounded. We failed you. We couldn't do a thing to save you from them. Oh, it's alright, Midir. Midir? We'll go with Midir. Every one of you did the best you could. Please, you needn't worry about me. You must ensure that as many of you survive this as possible. Now, you might see these two characters on the side screen. Maybe. I only put Prologue characters on my rotation right now. We'll add more later. No, milady. We might not stand a chance, but every last one of us will give our lives to protect you, right to the very end. Thank you, Midir. I'm so sorry. All you need is one good sword guy, and maybe one bow guy behind him, and you'll be fine. Like, 20 axe guys could not hit one sword guy. I know how prologues work of Fire Emblem. Gandalf's army has Ljungby surrounded. Aideen is in grave danger. Hey, Sigurd. And, Noish. I'm going to help her. I'm leaving Chalfie in your hands. Hold, my lord. Surely you don't. The text is actually really slow. I wonder if we can speed this up once we get to the menu. Surely you don't intend to go alone. Nearly all of our forces are already on the march to Isaac with father. There's hardly anybody left to call upon. They may... Oh, we can speed it up a little bit, I see. They may be simple savages, but Verdane's army is still huge. I can't risk your lives by forcing you to face them. Perish the thought, my lord! I was born a knight, and I will gladly risk dying a knight's death in your name. To allow our lord to die alone in battle would be an unspeakable disgrace. We shall be by your side every step of the way, as long as you have a horse. Alec, I trust you are of the same mind. Oh, I see. Red Cav and Green Cav. Yep. That's also an old school Fire Emblem staple. Yeah, of course. But there's more than just Ljungby at stake. We've got to stop the nearby villages first. Stop them from being destroyed by thugs. So the axe guys are going to burn the villages down, just like every prologue. It's cool. Those thugs will try to beat us to them, and they'll loot, massacre, and burn them all down if they do. We've got to get there first and lend the locals a hand in locking the villages down by closing the gate. They don't know how to close the gate until we get there. Absolutely. We mustn't neglect our knightly duties to protect the people, especially not at a time like this. Good point, Alec. Actually, that was Wifey's idea. Is this Oify or Wifey? I'm thinking I'm going with Wifey. That kid's every bit the tactician they say he is. Give him a few years and he'll be a match for his old grandpa, Lord Cesare. Caesar, I guess. Cesare. Where did that come from? Oify's still around the castle, huh? Oify! Maybe Oify's okay. You can yell Oify a little better. I know you're here. You can come out now. My apologies for still being here, sire. Still, if you would allow it, I'd like to join you in battle. I can't just sit back while you risk your lives. I don't know. You're still pretty young. Are you sure you're ready for this? I'm 14, sire. I may not be battle ready just yet, but there's still much I can do to support you. Just give him a heal staff and let him follow us along. It's fine. Please allow me to accompany you. I swear I won't let you down. I'm pretty sure squires went along with their knights into battle most of the time. They just, you know, maybe didn't have a horse. Fair enough, wifey. After all, you've already spent 2 years training as my squire. Yeah, 2 whole years. Real battlefield experience would be fantastic for your training, but you're still definitely not up to actual combat duty. How about you ride with me as my advisor? Yes, thank you, sire. Thank you. My lord, what of the defense of Shalfie itself in our absence? Leaving the castle unattended is risky. Should the enemy slip past us, an unguarded castle will befall easily and spell us a swift tutorial. It's just telling you how the game works, guys. Noish! I'd say there's only one man we can depend upon for that, eh, Arden? Hold on a moment. Why me, Alec? Sturdy as a brick wall, strong as an ox, slow as a turtle. Face it, Arden, you were born for guard duty. I'm strong and tough, I know. But you really don't need to call me slow. It rhymes. Seriously? I'm strong and tough, I know. But you really don't need to call me slow. He's a rapper. He's the Arden the rapper. That's great. I like it. He has a point, Arden. Would you? You're the most apt at guard duty. Oh, fine. I'll do it. But you have to bring me with you at least once. I don't want to be left out of the action. He didn't rhyme that time. Bad job. Right, men, it's time to set out. Let's start by assisting the villages, and then onwards to Jungbi. Only 15 minutes of exposition. Sigurd. Alright. Hey, look, it's a Fire Emblem game. This is what we've been waiting for. Alright, so we've got Sigurd, the Night Lord. It'll be on the screen eventually at some point. Those are his stats. You can see them in more detail in here, for instance, but I put the growths and stuff. He's got that authority stat. He's got pursuit. We're going to have to try to keep in track of who's got pursuit and who's got critical and all those sorts of things. It's still going to take a bit of work. I mentioned in the introduction that everyone has their own individual money. So he's got like 5,000 and this guy's got 2,000, for instance. Just for instance. We'll talk about the arena later on once we have access to it. But yeah, there's an arena thing we can do for everybody, assuming they're strong enough. This is the Holy Blood Circle, so you can see all the names. I think I might have typoed a couple on the left screen, depending on like where you look. Things like Holy Bloods have different names or spellings, like, you know, translations. But anyway, his is glowing flashily, so he's got the major Balder blood, which is what gives him the star rank in swords, as well as better growth rates. And I mean, Sigurd's pretty awesome. I think pretty strong. So he's got currently a steel sword and iron lance. Looks like you'd want to use the steel sword for most of the time, and then if you need the lance for a little bit more damage but way less speed. But there is the weapon triangle, so you never know. But pretty cool. I believe this is considered a pre-promote technically because he's a promoted class, a Knight Lord rather than just a boring Cavalier. This game doesn't really do like level resets on promotion. Like a lot of Fire Emblems go level 10 or 20, and then you promote, go back to level 1, and level up to 10 or 20 again. This time around, that doesn't happen. You promote typically at level 20, and then the level cap is 30 for everyone. So being promoted early doesn't hurt you at all in this game, and there's no change to stat growth, or I don't even think there's any change to experience gains. So from what I understand, pretty strong unit. We've got the Red Cav, Noish, who's going to be strength and probably strength defense, and then skill speed. Actually, they've got the same strength. Well, no. The Red Cav usually has high strength and high defense, the physical brute strength, whereas the Green Cav is usually the more dexterous skill speed one. So we'll see how they do. I have their stat growth again. You can see Noish right now, so there you go. Anyway, swords and lances, although at the moment he only has the steel sword, and no bloods or anything, but he does come with crits and the chance to keep fighting for a long time, although I think at low levels the odds will be pretty slim. So not a whole lot good for skills on Noish right now. I think Alec, Pursuit's probably better, and then Nihil is probably not very important, but, you know, nice to have, I guess. And he also comes with just an iron sword. So, oops, I didn't mean to look at Chalfie, but there is Chalfie. there's stuff you can do in here, too, once we go in here, but whatever. No time for that. We got bandits to kill. So, Noish will do more damage with the steel sword. Alec will be a little bit more accurate. And then finally, we got old Arden up here. Lots of strength, lots of defense, but if you look at his portrait on the left once it pops up, his growths are terrible. He may have good defense right now, but he won't get good defense in the future. And his, skill and speed are terrible. Now, he does use swords, so I gotta give him swords at least. He's got Vantage, so I guess if he's almost dead, he can strike first. I have a feeling he's going to be pretty bad, though. The worst movement of the initial group, movement 5, and we've got movement 8, and movement 9. So he's half the speed of Sigurd, approximately, and honestly, 13 defense is not much more than Sigurd either. So, I don't know, I have a feeling he's going to be pretty inconsequential. But that's Arden. No bloods, just sword skill. Like, at least the other calves have the ability to use lances once we can buy them. And, yeah, alright, well, that's enough messing around. Let's have a quick look at the map, get used to the controls a little bit. So, Chalfie Castle and Ljungby, this is going to be our target. And, we've got Meteor, we'll talk about him later on. Green unit, maybe we'll try to recruit them. And we've got Gandalf, who's got a skill ring. Skill rings in this game just give you passive stats by having them, so you can see a +5 for a skill. Maybe we'll steal that when we fight him or something. We got Barbarians, technically, yeah. So, we can look at all these evil guys. What else was I doing? Just looking at the basic map. Castle Evans, Castle Chalfie, Castle Ljungby. So, Evans is way over here. I guess they invaded, crossed the bridge, and took over Ljungby. Now, one thing that's kind of neat before we get too much further into the map is, you might notice that for 9 movement, this is a little bit more than 9 squares. So if you count them out, we'll only do this a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot more than 9. So the way it works in this game is the cost to move into normal terrain, like grass, is 1. So through grass, it would be 9 squares of movement, which you could probably test like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The fact that he can get here probably means technically he can go that way or something. Anyway, it should be 9 through grass, but roads count as 0.7 if I looked it up correctly. So if you wanted to do the math, it's like 0.7, 1.4, 2.1, 2.8, 3.5, 4.2, 4.9, 5.6, 6.3, 7, 7.7, 8.4, not enough left, can't go over 9. So that's kind of how it works, which is pretty cool. I believe forests are a 3 cost to move into, and it does depend on your unit. Like, some units will move through forests quickly, and some units will move through, like, sand and stuff a little bit slower as well. Horses tend to be good on the plains, like, as you'd expect. Alright, so let's just plan it out a little bit here. We got some villages up here. Do I have a way of... Alright, so we can zoom around a little bit faster. Alright, that's cool. So we got a couple villages. I believe you can heal in the churches. We got another village way. That's probably the hardest one to get to. That's way up there. And then kind of open plain to the castle and another village down here. Alright. So I'm thinking... Oh, another village in the middle, too. There's a lot of axe guys. Like, there's a lot of these guys, and there's no way we're going to get to these things before they start getting burned down. But I do happen to know that you don't lose... Unlike, like, modern Fire Emblems, where you lose the entire village instantly. In this game... Just check a sec. Oh, sometimes, the reason I did the fast forward is while it's on fast forward, it's quieter. And I've had the emulator kind of mess up a little bit where it puts the default volume too high, and then using the fast forward thing kind of resets it. I just want to make sure it's not too loud for you guys. Anyway, I know in the future Fire Emblems, these villages get burned down instantly when an axe guy gets in there. Whereas in this one, it takes time, and they just sort of burn down over time. I think it takes like 5 or 10, maybe even 10 turns to actually lose an entire village. But you do get less rewards the more they get burned down. So you still want to get to them, rather quick. So I'm thinking, logically here, you might want, like, Noish and Alec to head kind of over this way as a tag team. I think you might need 2 of them to take down axe guys safely, Whereas we could probably send Sigurd sort of down, start working on the big field here, heading towards the castle, I think. And then Arden, I mean, you know, I don't know if he's going to do much. We can depart him from the castle. I mean, that's something. Interesting that he's not in here, technically. I don't think you're supposed to do castle things in the prologue. Because later on, we'll be able to select people inside the castle and do stuff with them. But I have a feeling that's sort of disabled for the prologue, but we can test it out. Anyway, let's just get going here. So, one thing that's going to be tricky... Oh, also, I forgot to mention, there's Canto in this game. This is really Horse Emblem. After we attack here, we'll still be able to move after the combat. So, it's a really, really powerful form of Canto. I think the Game Boy Advance ones, you could move after a rescue or an item trade, but after you had combat, you were stuck where you ended, like where you, in the tile you fight from, that's where you get stuck. This has, I think, colloquially called Super Canto, which is like 3 houses, which is also Horse Emblem, and you can fight and then move along. So that's pretty good for spacing on this guy, which means you'd want to move Noish first if it's going to take 2 hits, or, you know, attack from there. I also think we should point out that roads give you minus 10% evasion, so you'd better off ending your turn on the plains, or another sort of min-max thing is near, I can't select it, but the authority stars, if I put Sigurd somewhere nearby, that will give hit and avoid to the people who are going to fight. Although, I think Sigurd could probably kill it himself. So, with all that said, let's get to work. I want to send Sigurd to the south. And I think if I put him in this square, he'll provide a little bonus to Noish and Alec, who may or may not need some help fighting this axe guy. I don't think I'll need Sigurd to fight it, but you never know. Alright. The other thing that you might notice we don't have, we definitely want to leave the sword equipped. And we'll be leaving animations on for now. It's going to be a little bit tricky to keep track. Like, this is fine. If he attacks, it's a little bit tricky to track monsters. Like, I don't think there's going to be a highlight all possible enemy movements ever since, like, the Game Boy, not the Game Boy, the 3DS games. There's generally a button that shows you all the possible squares the enemy will move into. I don't believe we have that kind of option, although there are some options I should probably have a quick look at. Oh yeah, let's turn this up for sure. Let's turn that up for sure. We're also going to turn the autosave on, because I'm a loser. Alright, I like that. Was there anything else in there? Just before we get too far into the game, I figure we should... Oh. Alright, good enough. I thought there was more options than this. Who knows? We've got a full list of our items. We got a list of all of our this is like your goal, your objective, your win or lose conditions, kind of where the how that's actually cool. How many enemies there are? I like that. And the unit list. Yeah, that's cool. I believe this screen, yeah, you can scroll through. There's a lot of information here. That's handy, so you can see the attack and hit rate of everybody a little bit easier, maybe. Personal data, how much money they've got. Oh yeah, the talk screen, right. So if there is a possible talk between characters, it will tell you on this screen. So we might want to check this every now and then, because it's hard to just test every single combination out for talking. Weapon ranks. You know, this is actually pretty detailed. I like this. Even all the skills. You can sort. Actually, that's pretty advanced, I gotta say. Super Nintendo game, for a Super Nintendo era game, this is pretty thorough. You can imagine with a large force. I mean, Sigurd's best in everything, so it doesn't really matter, but... None of this matters at all, because Sigurd's just always the best. Does someone beat him? Yeah, in defense. Yeah, you can sort by... That's cool. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever really use those kind of abilities, but the fact that that's all in, that's pretty cool, actually. I like that. Alright. Let's get to work here. So... The thing is, unlike the modern games that tell you what's going to happen, we're going to have to do a little bit of math on this screen, and this is where it gets tricky. So, the little small box is our attack, and the larger box is the enemy stats. So it does cut down on the less useful information, like your level and stuff like that, things you don't need. And conveniently, there's no need to calculate criticals anymore because people generally don't critical. But you might notice that this doesn't include like your attack speed. It shows the hit, which is, I guess it does cover, like, there's always been the option, or typically there's been the option to show hit and avoid, and then you have to do the math yourself on the hit versus the avoid. This just shows you the chance to hit, which for this guy is 100%. But again, you'll have to do the damage calculation. So we're going to do 16 damage, 21 minus 5, 100%, and then the enemy will counter, and they'll have a 36% chance to do 11 damage, I guess. So let's just get to it. I know, there's a lot of math calculations. You're not going to be very successful on these games without a bit of math. Now, technically, there would have been some chance that, well, we got hit at 36%. That's something you wouldn't see on a new game very often either. There would have been a chance that we could have got a critical that time, or an a cost. And that would have done a second round of combat. Although, actually, once we took damage, that was impossible. Because this only triggers at over 25 HP. So, if we had dodged the attack, then maybe we could have got a second attack. Although it's probably better we didn't, because if we got hit twice, then this guy would probably kill us. So, yeah, you know. Speaking of people that need to do some fighting, Iron Sword will be less amazing, but this guy has Pursuit, right? Yes. So assuming his speed is higher. Now, this is where it gets tricky, right? So, it won't, or at least I don't believe it says ×2 attack like you might see in the newer games, right? Yeah. So, with Pursuit, he could get 2 attacks, but how do you know? Well, so you're gonna have to look at this guy, go speed 7 minus 18. Okay, that's a 0. Actually, it's not 0, it's minus, it goes into the negatives. It's minus 13, or minus 11. Right, look at his avoid, negative 22. That's because he has an effective speed, or an attack speed, of negative 11, and his avoid is double his speed, which goes into the negatives. That's why it's so easy to hit him. So, as long as we have an attack speed of 1, we're okay. Iron Sword has a weight of 3, our speed is 10, so we'll be doing a 7 attack speed, which means, yeah, we'll definitely get a double hit. Hopefully I'll be able to wing that, you know, attack speed calculation a little bit better as I'm more familiar. Suffice to say, we should be getting a kill here. This has been a very long first turn. Alright, at least we didn't take any damage, so good. Good job, Alec. And some experience. Cool. Alright, and then we got our boy, Arden. I don't know if he's going to be able to get anywhere in time to help. I know it sort of said he's going to stay back and guard the castle, but I think it's probably still better to move him out. He's so slow, though. I don't know. They don't call this horse emblem for nothing. There's no map view, I guess. Maybe? Oh, there is a mini-map. It's not... Well, I mean, this is not the worst. It's what you get for Super Nintendo. But yeah, okay, there's a way to kind of skim through the map. That's the start button, in case you're wondering. Select button just brings that up. Enemy castle... Or this is... The L button is going to castles. The R button, I believe, takes you to the next active unit. Y is sort of move quicker. X is details. A to select, B to cancel, you know, standard controls. Alright, let's just try to get at least a couple turns down before we end our first episode. You curs seriously haven't seized this puny castle yet? Useless, the lot of you. Out of my way, I'll do it myself. Alright. You, not bad for being here all on your own. I'll just do some creative license now and then. It's just gonna be the way it is. But I've had enough of your struggling. Alright. Gandalf got a crit. I wonder if he even has the crit skill. My lady! Forgive me. Well, I guess we're not recruiting that guy. Oh, mid-ear. Well, well, well. Looks like we have quite the gem here. And Jugby's princess to boot. You're coming home with me, dearie. Listen up, DiMaggio. I'm heading back. Or no, this is him again. Listen up, DiMaggio. I'm heading back. You and Gerard are in charge. Yes, sir. Nah, relax. Won't be long, I'll be bringing Kid-based Lottle on for the fun. When I do, all Granvale's our oyster. Even Belhalla ought to be easy pickings. What with nobody around to stop us. The kingdom's all ours, boys. Leave it to us, sir. Well, not off to a great start for that. She's resisting arrest. Oi, quit your dawdling. We don't have all day, you know. I like the little touch on the walking animation there. You can see her kind of fighting to not go. That's great. Little baby sprites. Cut the bridge! I'll have none of these Granvale worms crossing over here. Yes, sir. Cut the bridge? Yep. That's why they're axe guys. You just cut the bridge off. Sometimes. You know, creative license, right? Oi! Gerard, I'm going back to Marfa for now. You're in charge of the border. Stay sharp. We clear? Yes, sir. But, your lordship, who's that there dame you got? The spoils of war, my boy. She's coming back to Marfa to marry me. What do you think? A real keeper, eh? I'll say. Just looking at her is making my mouth water. Back off, this one's mine. You'll have your pick of all Granvale when we're done here. Keep it in your pants a little longer, eh? What animals, gods above, I implore you, bestow upon these men a hint of decent human decency. Oi, what are you mumbling about now? We're out of here. No dawdling, you hear? Well, they did just murder her bodyguard, destroy her castle, and now she's getting stolen away to be married. Good to work, boys. Our next stop's Chalfie. Don't forget to milk the villages for all they got. Some serious enemy phase music. Alright. Sigurd, let's see how he does. He's going to be a step or two above the other cavaliers. But you can see he still gets about the same amount of experience, so that's pretty sweet. Thanks for standing on the road so it's easy to hit you in the face with my sword. Also, I don't know why they attacked the guy at full HP and not the guy with lower HP. Also the guy that was in range of Sigurd's leadership. Who knows? Alright, like I said, there's a lot of bands, a lot of axe guys, let's call them, going after villages. So I get the feeling that there's two different types of axe guys. If you look at the sprites, there's guys that hold their axes vertically and horizontally. Anyway, we'll look at them in a second. It looks like we made it in time, Lex. Where's my we ride together? 0 out of 10 game. And by the look of it, Sigurd's staring down the entire Verdane army with just a handful of men and 3 swords. That's all you need, 3 swords. Bet he'll be glad for the help. But geez, Hazel, I can't believe I let you drag me into yet another mess. Well, with the war in Isaac going on, there's hardly anyone left to defend Granvale. Sigurd's few knights are all we have, and they're out here risking their lives on behalf of the country. I couldn't just let them die. Ah, we both know there's more to it than that. Come on, Hazel. What's the real reason we're here? I have no idea what you mean. It's that Lady Aideen of Jungby, isn't it? Come on, everyone knows you like her. You just came for her sake, didn't you? No, of course not. Really? Then why's your face beat red? Looks like someone's got a girlfriend. Lex, knock it off. Come on, we're wasting enough time. Time to teach these Verdnite thugs a lesson. And there's your autosave. Alright. Well, we've got to get at least... I don't know how long this episode's going to be. I should start a timer. I used to use not Studio Labs OBS, and when you start recording, this is just some tech for you. It kept a timer by the recording live button, so you could always see how many minutes you'd been recording for. But then I switched to Streamlabs OBS, which is kind of nice for streaming, but I also use it for the local recording, like we're doing now. But it does not show the timer, which is, well, inconvenient. Anyway, win some, you lose some. So let's have a quick look at our 2 new units. We've got ourselves a mage. It's Hazel. He's probably fairly young and majory. He's got pursuit, so with the skill, or with the speed, he can get doubles. And he's got some minor Vala blood rather than major. It's not super glowy. And he can talk to Sigurd. Look at that. We should go talk him to Sigurd. Also, fire tomes. They're the worst ones, I believe. I had a quick look at most of the magic stats. Between fire, thunder, and wind, the C rank ones all do 12 damage, or 8 might and 90 hit. But each tome, each element has a different weight. And fire is the worst. And there's really no wind. So that's kind of unfortunate for someone who starts with Pursuit to have a tome that reduces your speed by 12. So he's at -2, I guess, for speed, right? No, -3. -2, yeah. Count 0. You can just look at the avoid. It's half of your avoid, basically. Alright, so he's not going to have an easy time doubling people, which is unfortunate. He could do 18 damage, magic damage, and probably enemies don't have a lot of resistance, so, you know, that's pretty good. Now, the axe guys, assuming negative comparisons work, if this is -11, and he is only -2, does that mean he gets to double? Is that how the math works? Anyway, while we're looking at the last characters here, we got Lex, the Axe Knight. He's got an iron axe. So traditionally axes do a little bit more damage and have lower accuracy. They're generally not great early game. So this puts him at -3 speed. But he does not have Pursuit, so he's not doubling no matter what. He can get a first strike in if he's below half HP, and he will gain a lot of experience. So that's nice. No blood? Oh, he does have blood. Near blood. So he's got the axe blood. Cool for him. He can also talk to Sigurd. So that's lots of information there. Cool stuff. You can see more on the left side of your screen if you watch along. So I take it the goal will be for these two guys to defend this village, theoretically, while my calves here deal with this village. And Sigurd maybe will just keep moving on south. So maybe Arden could get a kill here? No. He can almost get a kill. And he still takes 6 damage. Oh, he's not going to get hit. What we could do, though, is have him attack and then canto and move up. Or we could just ignore this guy, have these two move up to start trying to rescue this town, and let Arden theoretically fight this guy for a couple turns. I think that would probably work. Oh yeah, I was talking about the axe guys. So notice that this guy's got an axe, kind of, you know, he's a brigand, he's holding his axe horizontally. He probably has different stats than these guys. A barbarian, yeah. Hand axe. Actually, that's important to note too. Range too. So I'm assuming then this guy won't try to burn the village down. We just have to protect the villages from the brigands, specifically. Although there's, you know, a few of them. Probably one per village, if I'm guessing here. Yeah, I bet you this guy will start moving towards... Yeah, okay, I think I see how this is going to work. Alright, there's our move. Okay, so I'm thinking... Noish took a hit, so we might start this fight with Alec. And if you notice here, villages give you some pretty good evasion. So I think if my knights are in the village plus 20%, they'll be pretty hard to hit. Hopefully they can kill one guy before a reinforcement gets there. And we should be getting doubles here, so Noish, or Alec, that is to say, should be okay. I mean, I can't really see anyone with Pursuit not getting doubles on these axe guys. They have, like, -1,000,000 attack speed. So, I don't know if this guy will attack us or continue burning the village down. We're just gonna wait there. See if this all works out. Perfect amount of damage. Good deal. And we don't have to worry about another low % hit on our Noish. Alright. That should be one protected village. Yeah. Oh, thank the gods, we're saved. We can't thank you enough. Here, the whole village did their bit to raise some money. It's not much, but we hope it helps out. Be sure to lend the other villages a hand, too. I'll bet they'll be happy to help you out right back. Alright, so it's 5,000 gold minus every turn of destruction. Knowing that I was going to kill the bandit, I could have checked with math and seen that I could have killed it. In which case, I could have cantoed Alec a little bit further to the left, and that would have been more optimal, but this is not a minimum turn kind of thingamajigger we're trying to do here, guys. Even Arden on the map even moves slowly. So hopefully having my 2 calves ignoring this guy is not a bad idea. I mean, I'm sure Arden will win as long as he doesn't run away. Like, this guy could move outside of Arden's movement range. Actually, he could just attack us up here. That wouldn't matter too much. Yeah, I meant to do that, just like that. It was a plan. Alright, so I think Sigurd... I think he can take out these 2 guys, 3 guys, but, you know, possibly kill the bow guy, and then lure the 2 axe guys over. Just to try to save the villages in good time, basically. And we can keep cantoing... yeah, nothing from this group should be able to get near him. Well, actually, I could... If I ended my turn in here, I could lure, like, 3 attacks. But that would be putting me in negative... You know, negative avoid, essentially. Maybe optimally I end my turn, like, right here. At least there's no penalty on those squares. The movement in this game is a lot higher than some other Fire Emblems. Because of the roads, it's a little bit harder to keep track of how far enemies can move. The math is a bit weird. I wonder if I'll still be able to canto over here. Because, like, if you think about it, he might be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that's probably only using, like, 5 movement. And then through the archer will be cheap. Yeah, I bet you he'll make it. I gotta get a feeling for how these road tiles work better. And I'm assuming I can one-shot him, which I think is safe. Pretty safe. I think we can safely assume Sigurd can one-shot, or one round, basically anything in the map. So, good old Sigurd. And I feel like there's no reason not to use him here, because he's so good, and he has really good, like, growths. Like, he's not like a, what do they call them? The Jagen types from Fire Emblem 1 that start pre-promoted, don't get a lot of experience, and don't get good level ups anyway. This guy is not like that. I can't see any reason not to use him right now. Alright, now the new 2 characters. Let's see. So how do we go about saving the village? I guess you start with ranged, and then you go in for the axe for the kill. We could probably do that from the forest, although... I mean, I think Azel's pretty frail. Only 2 defense. I would prefer him not taking much damage. I think if I park someone on the village, this guy won't be able to start ransacking it. Neither of them could attack this guy, so we just gotta park in 20% evade and hope that we dodge. But, you know, axe guys are not the most accurate. Alright. Oh, he might just one-round this guy, right? Because he does, I think he's got pursuit, and as long as a small negative is better than a low negative, a big negative. I mean, this is where we're going to test that out, right? -2 attack speed with pursuit versus -11 attack speed. I'm assuming we get a double out of it. Yeah, looks good. Good job, Azel. And that means we didn't take any damage. We can move a little bit further, because we don't have to move through the forests, I guess. Or actually, that's the same. So I think it seems to be that you can't canto out of a village, like you end your turn when you go to village, which is fine. So if we put Lex there, that will end his turn, and he can probably protect Azel, which is, it's probably better if Lex takes a hit than Azel. And, you know, we also get the village out of the way. Pay attention, kid. Weapons aren't created equal. See, swords beat axes, and swords beat lances, and swords beat swords. This right here's why you gotta use your head before you blunder into battle. Speaking of battle, if you ever find yourself hurting, there's a chapel is the best place to go. It ain't free, mind. Every bit of health you regain will cost you 5 gold. But you can't put a price on your health. It's 5, except, what? Your health is 5 gold per piece. 5 gold per HP. That's exact, like, basically, the villagers are worth 100 HP, or 1000 HP, math, and his value in life is 165 gold. So he's got a lot of spare gold right now, but he's actually only worth 160. That's how it works. All right, I'm gonna do one more turn, and then we'll probably have to end the episode because I feel like it's gonna get too long. Hey, he wants to fight Arden. All right, this is good. 25%. Oh yeah, so now that Sigurd's moved away, he's got a slightly better chance to hit us. But still no match for the armor knight. The sword armor. I don't know, what am I calling him? So does anyone take any bets on whether or not Sigurd takes any damage here? If this was a modern Fire Emblem, 15% would mean basically 0, and you could guarantee almost for sure that he would take 0 damage. But this is old school Fire Emblem, so any of these hits have a chance. They've definitely got a 1.5 out of 10. He's getting attacked 3 times. So the odds of him getting hit once out of 3 strikes is still pretty low, but it's not 0. Alright, the bandit was smart enough to move into the forest. Ooh, he got us with a 56. Alright. That's acceptable. Take a hit now and then. I think in this game, it's probably smart to anticipate taking more hits than what you're used to in the modern games, basically. Unless you can find a way to get it to 0 hit rate. Alright, our first level up. Surprise, surprise. On the big boy Sigurd. So, 2 HP. That's pretty cool. Was that 2 defense or something? Or 1 defense and 1... I didn't even see what it was. Skill, I think? Oh, look, there's his growth rates. So, 110% hit HP. He had a 10% chance of getting 2 HP. His defense was only... 40%, if that was a defense up. Yeah, I feel like that's a decent average level up. Good, we aren't too late. I pray Sigurd is still unhurt. I'm sure my brother's doing just fine out here, but it won't be easy without a magic user in his ranks. I want to do all I can as a healer. Ah, that's perfect, we need a healer. To help and save lives. Quan, I'm sorry I dragged you into this mess. I know Shalfie isn't my family anymore, now that we're married, but I couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Thank you so much for coming, not just for me, but for Sigurd. Oh, there's no need to thank me, Ethelyn. Sigurd is every bit as important to me as he is to you, remember? He is my brother-in-law, after all, and I couldn't possibly leave you to fight all alone. Oh, thank you so much. My lord, we should hurry. Lord Sigurd still awaits us on the battlefield, just ahead. Alright, well, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back next time, I will introduce 3 more characters. There's so many characters. This game front-loads the characters pretty heavily. We won't have to spend as much time going over them once we get past the prologue, which makes sense. You know how it is, right? So we got Lex took a hit. I should really just end the episode. We got 2 people that took a hit, but, you know, we got a healer now. A healer on a horse. Sounds good. Alright, folks. Hope you're excited. I don't know how long these maps will last. Obviously, they're not small little baby maps, so it's going to take a few episodes per map. I'd like to do, you know, traditionally Fire Emblem games, I like to do one episode per chapter if I can pull it off, and only split them up in really long chapters. But it's going to be more like 3 or 4 or 5 or more, just because this game is set up with big maps. And there are also fewer chapters. Like, I'd say most Fire Emblems have, I'd say around 20 to 25 chapters altogether, give or take. Maybe a little bit more if it's Hector mode. But, you know, you could say around 25 maps. This game, I believe, only has like 12 or 13. So it's got half as many, but they're really big. So that's cool. It's a pretty long game, all things considered. But anyway, there you go. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for more Genealogy of the Holy War.